Hi, my name is Tommy O'Neill. You can call me Thomas. I'm back today with more for the Voynich Manuscript. And today I'll be discussing my cipher. And you can see on the screen the Eva frequency and the medieval Latin frequency. And why I chose Latin for substitution. It's basically a straight across uh, substitution. Straight substitution involves directly replacing a variable letter or element with a known equivalent expression, value, symbol to solve problems in mathematics, cryptography, or science. So this is just a really simple substitution. And more about it, the gallows, more on the gallows. So if we go to the gallows, you see this symbol right here? Um, that's a gallows letter. And if I copy this into the cipher, it'll show you the meaning of it decrypted. It's a G. So the gallows looks like two letters if you look at it. It has what looks like a P, and there's the bench glyph below it. So I took with the Latin equivalent of the Eva frequency characters. These are Eva, CH is the bench glyph, but the CKH would be a gallows figure or letter with that combines the bench with a flourish gallows letter. So I took that, and then if you notice the rank over here goes from rank 12, and rank 12 would be a letter L for CKH. So that's the equivalent of one letter. And I ranked it with medieval Latin. And I did it from the highest ranked letter, which was O in Eva frequency, which looks like an O in Voynich glyphs. So if we go to Voynich or the glyphs, you can go anywhere basically in the Voynich manuscript, and you'll see an O, like right in here. That's an O character. So the O is 17%, the highest ranking letter in frequency numbered in the book. So that ranks 1. I just happens to rank the highest in medieval Latin. And I just figured Wilfred Voynich used I as the medieval Latin as his go ahead. But he might have just used regular Latin. I don't know, but I used it. So it ranks 11%. So what I did to match it up is I just ranked it I just used the 20 most common Latin letters in medieval Latin and ranked them against the 20 most common um, Latin glyphs. And I'm using the Eva equivalent because the Eva equivalent are equivalent to the glyphs. And so, um, and the and why I chose Latin, if we go into the manuscript, we'll we'll see in here Orange Davies on 2V, right in here, what looks like an F is really how they used to um, detail the glyph for S back then. So this is an S and this is an E. So that's say. And say in Latin, and this is why I chose Latin. Is one of the reasons why say in Latin means apart from. And this really strikes me because I believe this conlang tongue language is mostly apart from Latin, and you'll see more why. I will show you. There's another word in here on folio 66R. Is another reason why I chose Latin. And this is pretty amazing. A lot of people are using this today. Taking a while to refresh. I've got a powerful connection to the internet. Anyway, this word here is N. This is MV for Michael Voynich, or 1005, and this is S. And I discarded this as null. This is a null, and this is just as like a food crumb or a null. So NMVS. This is partially why this is Latin as well, and I chose this. This is why I chose Latin as my cipher. And if we go in here, N means see, behold. MV means 1005, and S is to exist, to be, to exist. But if we also look at 1005, the man is pointing to his navel, and umbilicus means central point or center. So Michael Voynich saying he's the central point of the whole manuscript because he is the author, and you'll find out more why I point to him as the author. Um, there is another point in the manuscript where he has some initials in the manuscript, and I can show you that real quick. And if I blow this up, well, this is folio 86 V3, so if we can just go there. Folio 86 V3. Now, this takes a little bit. He also used pi in the manuscript, which I decoded. And this is a semicircle, and this is a radius. And a lot of the star charts in the words he uses, there's a pi in the middle of the word, or there's pi in the cipher. So in here, W, there's a W and there's a W here. Well, in his name, he has Wilfred Voynich as I don't even know how to pronounce his last name. And war took place around 1908, between 1910. If we go like this, go 1908, 1910 war. The Bosnian crisis, major European diplomatic confrontation caused Austrian Bosnia, which had occupied Berlin outraged. Russian weakened from Russian war under threat. Germany is Austrian and supporting Serbia. The Pig War, 1908, between Austria-Hungary and Serbia immediately. So there was a war going on, precursor to World War I. in Austria-Hungary. Anyway, I got sidetracked. So say and NMVS. Now, going back to my cipher, um, as you can see, it's high to low frequency letters. You can put in the Eva word, and out comes the Latin equivalent, which sometimes makes actual Latin words, and Latin words are rare. Now, when you put in MVIO, you get this. But that's not the Eva equivalent. The actual equivalent should be down here as MVIO. However, in the Voynich word, which is right here, it's this word right here. So if I copy this and go back to the cipher, paste it in, that has a gallows in it. You get MVIO. So that's 1006 October. October is the birthday month. O is an abbreviation for October, and MVIO is 1006, 11th century, and that's when a supernova was happening. So I've found some Latin equivalents in the Voynich Manuscript, and what I'm leading this up to is we're going to look at the word puzzles of Ros2, which led me to solve Ros2 using the cipher. And I thought I'd explain it more because I've noticed people are looking at Ros2, and on average they're stopping at what I call the vulva on the upper left corner of the circle, the first circle of 9 circles. And on average, they get into the average amount of people who are watching it. There's been 145 viewers. The average viewership is going for about 2 minutes and 22 seconds, and the average viewership would be stopping at around the explanation of the first circle. And what I noticed is mostly men are watching this video, and I, I, I don't know if they're becoming skeptical or laughing about it, but it there you have to really open your mind to this because most of people thought it was a map of oceans or continents or other things, which it is not. The cipher really pins it down. And these are word puzzles which Voynich incorporated into this. Behind Eva Voynich is not the actual language behind the or phonetic tongue behind the glyphs of the Voynich. It's just simply a transliteration so that you can use it. Now I used Eva so that I can use it to put in a cipher, as we see. You cannot use the Voynich glyphs to transfer your cipher to pin it down. So back to what I was discussing with Ros2. If we go to Ros2, Ros2 has 9, and I noticed on Yale's University's Ros2 high resolution map of Ros2, folio 86, that they cut off this word here. It's a very important word, and I can't believe Yale did that because this word is very faint, but it is a Voynich word, and there's 9 of them listed here. And if you notice, there's a partial space in between, and spaces are important to Voynich glyphs because the spaces matter. But these spaces are part of the words here. So I'm listing 9 words, and these 2 words relate to each other. So there are 9 listed right here. There happens to be 9 circles, and I figured out through the word puzzles that these are precisely the numbers how they're arranged on the Ros2 map. I still use map, but it's really about, I'll read the introduction. These 9 Voynich glyph words listed in the upper right-hand corner of Ros2 can be translated from Eva Voynich. My cipher reads them now for the first time from Ros2 map. It appears to be about human life, starting from a picture of a vulva all the way to the fall. My cipher. So we'll go down here, and granted, this is a pretty big opening for a vulva. Must have been a loose woman. I'm just kidding. Yeah. And Wilfred had a abstract mind when it came to women. If you notice, if you go through the Voynich Manuscript, there's a woman tied up. There's a crossbowman pointing his bolt at a woman's vagina. A woman being eaten by a fish. A lot of reptiles in the Voynich Manuscript. And the tongue of the Voynich has a hiss to it. I'm not saying it's parcel tongue or whatever they call it, but it has a snake vibe to it, not completely. Now let's take the word that I decoded it to on the first word, and Ros2 Map Bioba from my cipher. This is the word I decoded it to, but we'll take the word that the Eva word, and we'll first take the Eva word and we'll put it into here. So just if you can get the feel of what it looks like in so that's what it looks like in Voynich glyphs. And if you put it in the cipher, paste it in here, there's Biobaba. But if you Ros2 Map Bioba from my cipher, so there you go, that's how it was represented. But then this is not really the spelling of Bioba, it's Boba. And Boba had been represented with a vulva. And so this is a vulva. There's little hairs and stuff on the outer edge. It looks like a vulva. Now going onward to the next word. Now this is a stretch. Ivesser esser, and this is hystera. He was making it really hard and tough, but he didn't make it that tough because he happened to put right here, conception would be, there's the vulva, and this is conception, this would be the womb, and these are golden. He had a hard time putting in the 9th golden. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But the 9th one would have been here, but he didn't. But right here in this corner is a baby. If you go down, there's a baby right here. So, but the baby's looking in the center. And the center is where the baby's born. So this is conception. But let's take the word that I found, Iva Esser, which is an Eva word. Eva word often ain. The Eva word is often ain. Excuse me. And then we'll go into paste, often ain, Iva Esser. So that's how I got hystera. And hystera, if we look that up, and these are word puzzles, so I'm just going through the word puzzles with you. Hystera means the Greek word for womb, uterus. So that's where the baby's conceived. Now this, I don't think I need much explaining to do. This does look like cell division. The third circle, bottom left-hand corner of the Ros2 Map rosettes. You can see that, and what I should explain, I didn't explain, was the elixir of life. This is elixir, the elixir symbol, and L-shaped with three circles. Well, I just happened to find the aquavita, or elixir of life, water of life symbol, and it's right here. It looks like the symbol in the Ros2 diagram. If we look in the Ros2 diagram for the cell division circle, it's right here. And that was not a 14th century symbol. Another slip up by Wilfred Voynich. And if we go into here, aquavita. Aquavita, or aquavita, is an archaic name for strong aqueous solution. The term is a generic name for all types of diluents and eventually came to alcohol beverages. Aquavita was typically distilling for wine. However, it was the term was used in 14th century alchemist John Rupesissa, who believed the newly discovered substance of ethanol was imperishable and life-giving fifth essence, quintessence, who extensively studied for medical properties. So it's life-giving. And what do we have when we're doing cell divisions? Life-giving, ardent spirits. So maybe Wilfred Voynich associated the cell divisions when the spirit actually enters the body, or the newly created cells that are going on in the woman in her womb. Here's the symbol, spirit of wine, aquavita, and here's that symbol again. And this symbol, aquavita, is an 18th century symbol, or a symbol. Let's see. Aquavita. If we go in here, I posted this and had the image of the symbol, but the moderators or the administrator deletes all the evidence of my imagery. So you can't really connect the imagery with my posts anymore. For my old, he banned me as well. My Asserti was my old username. I don't know what's going on with Voynich Ninja, but either they value their job, they don't want anybody to know what the Voynich really is, or Yale is paying them, and they just don't want a defined Cipher relationship with the Voynich. They want the mystery of academia. Maybe academia is going to be embarrassed because it's a simple cipher, just a simple substitution. It's really crazy because Voynich Ninja should allow to set an image here, and all my posts from the Conlang glossolalia Dane pronounced that had 8 links at Voynich Ninja, and all of the imagery was deleted. They just left the text, and it's very important for the imagery to connect with the meaning of my theory, and they deleted it all. And Voynich Ninja is supposed to be a reputable source of information for the Voynich Manuscript. Anyway, moving on. I'm a little bitter, obviously. Moving on. Many alchemy symbols were invented in the 17th century. This one in particular found table chemical philosophical characters of Basil. I'm sorry about my pronouncing my speech. I'm speaking too fast. So, table of chemical and philosophical characters of Basil Valentine's, the last will and testament of 1670 edition. The same symbol is used in different authors to represent different things. An exact similar triangular symbol with 3 balls strung on it occurs frequently among star spells, picture and used alchemists to mean arsenic, opium, potash. Gerb Guessman, 1922. Mary Dear Imperial, Voynich Manuscript, Elegant Enigma. An elegant enigma. And 16th century alchemists, 17th century. So, and these alchemic symbols denote chemical compounds, alchemic apparatus process until the 18th century. Most of these symbols are way past the early 15th century, though. So, through the 1400s. And so, moving on back to the Ros2, I think we've gone enough onto the cell division. So now down to here, just make sure we're okay. Still recording. Moving on to now this should jingle a bell here. The second column, we're starting with the top center circle, Ros2. 24 symbols represents the old theory of chromosomes, 24 chromosomes. That was during Wilfred Voynich's time in the early 20th century, during the MS 408 creation. There's really 23 chromosomes. That was later proven in 1956. On the 12th chromosome, we notice an arrow pointing downward. And this is the vagina opening. And the cipher word is novum octuli leak. But if you take octo and change it to n, it's newly. So this is a newly created human in the womb with all the 20, I call it 23 chromosomes because that's what it is, but back then they misdiagnosed it or mislabeled it as 24. So this is the vagina opening, if you can imagine, just before being born. And I don't know why I didn't bother to go ahead and put the Eva word in there. Maybe it's down here. This is the center of, I've determined, birthplace for. Okay, yeah, this is Novia Octulio. octo. Okay, so the center part, central focus of the Ros2, you can see the 4 doctors in the water. And if you notice, the doctors have little crosses on top of them. So many hospitals, some of them have crosses. And the again, I didn't put in the Eva word for the center word. I just put in the cipher word. Well, you notice octonovum. So EO would be early obstetrics, and AO would be golden moment. AU would be golden moment, and octonovum would be 8th going to 9th. But this is early obstetrics, so that would be on the 9th month. It'd be somewhere like 5th month or 4th, somewhere where baby had to come out early. 4 pillars, a doctor's baby. So see this? This looks like a baby being held in a little basket or something. This is noticed. This is noticed right here. It's just to the left and just to the right to the second circle. Moving downward is the I did write the word in this time in Eva, so we can go to Eva and put it in, paste, and you notice pi for 3.4 years old, AU golden years, octo novum, before spring. I'm saying before spring because the supernova of April 30th, 1006 was in spring. So this is winter time. If we look at the, notice the spires coming out of the center dark or cold. This is a winter scene for a circle. That's what I'm interpreting. It's the 6th circle of the Ros2 map. Moving downward or crossing up into the castle folio. This will be the spring. And this is the Eva representation of the this is the Eva Voynich word. So we'll go to the cipher, put it in, paste, and we get IE. That's for a city. BB is before octo. Octo would be August or 8th. 8th month is August. So before August is spring. And CE is for a flower. And let's go look at it. The cipher gave CE for Cerintha plant, which blooms in the spring for Ros2. With my cipher. And IE is the former city name of Caesarea in Numidia. And if we go to the Latin dictionary, let's go look at that. First we'll see E. It's a plant which bees are fond of. Wax. Cerynthia. Cerynthia, a plant which bees are fond of wax. Cerynthia is a flower, and it blooms in the spring. Most plants do bloom in the spring. Well, it's a flower, so some of them do bloom at other times. Back to Ros2. So now we're moving on to summer. The Voynich word, let's get that, translates to octo, io, eo novum. Io means affirm. However, Latin dictionary also discusses a deity who have notified the Romans of the coming invasion of the Gauls. The Gauls invaded in high summer. And I think his name was Alia. So we'll go to the first to decode it, the cipher. And there's IO. So we can go to IO in the cipher. To firm and IS. A deity is supposed to have notified the Romans of the coming invasion by the Gauls. So I went and searched that, and I found that they did attack in high summer, so I associated the puzzle with high summer. Now going to fall. Now this is the whole Wilfred connection, if you're still with me. And it seems that people have a low attention, right? Not everybody. The Eva Voynich word Saradam translates to best. Now focus on best while I decode this for you. Go to Saradam. There's best. Best io octo eo. Eak. Q with a Q. I don't know how to pronounce that. So we go back. And if we just take best and we go into the dictionary, it means 2/3. Now what blow you away and shock you is the even Voynich word Saradam translates to best eo octio with my cipher. Some of the words are abbreviated. One Latin word, best, is translated 2/3. O is for October. I for in October 8th. The word puzzle best for 2/3. Wilfred's birthday, Voynich's birthday for October 31st. Halloween for autumn. This is intentional. Now remember, intentional. He used 2/3 to calculate the meteorological definition of fall, and that's between September 1st and November 30th, which is exactly 91 days. This is actually how meteorologists and climatologists define the season: 3 clean months. With that definition, you're right all along. 2/3 of 91 days equals 60.7 days. September 1st plus 60 days is October 31st. Wilfred Voynich was born on October 31st. And I have a breakdown of the fall progress. So I was showing you my cipher all along. And I showed you the word puzzles that Voynich uses. If you're following my videos at my channel, you also get a breakdown of the puzzles of the star charts. This has never been done before. Most people don't know what the Voynich is about. And I've always tried to find a cipher, and I finally did. But it's very most of the the language of the Voynich is it's a new language. It's mostly incomprehensible. It sounds like something totally foreign. Yet each word for some of the puzzles have little abbreviations within them that if you can make them out with the imagery, sometimes you will find um, complexity that makes sense, and rare Latin words that help me figure it out, like MVIO, the Roman numeral um, figure for 1006, and MV, which is Michael Voynich, which also is 1005. And just a little bit of Latin made me decide on making a simple substitution of Eva frequency letters, which equals the Voynich glyphs to medieval Latin. So I hope you've enjoyed the video today. It was long, and it was more about Ros2 again, the map. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Take care.